We're doing episode 5 of Gerry Learns to Cook, and we're doing Gerry cakes. We went to our local farmer's market and got some fresh corn. We're going to cut the corn off of the cob. If you aren't able to find fresh corn on the cob in Alaska, which that's pretty hard to do sometimes, use the in the can or the frozen kind is just fine. Just make sure that you thaw it out and get the moisture off of it, because we are going to take that. We're going to use some of the cinnamon sugar we made before, and we're going to make some yummy caramelized corn niblets. After we've made the corn niblets, we're going to make a very quick and easy batter with some flour, an egg, a little bit of salt, a little baking soda, a little bit of sugar, and some milk. It's really easy. We just quick mix, and then we're going to make a little fruit salad, cut up some strawberries. We've done that before, very easy. And then a last very fun part, we're going to make whipped cream, our own whipped cream. We're going to use this big mason jar or something like it. The important part is we've got a burr mixer or an immersion blender that we're going to use, a hand blender, and it needs to be able to fit into the jar because we're going to put our cream in there, our other ingredients. We're going to use our hand blender in the jar. It's very helpful to keep the mess from flying everywhere if we do it in that jar. So make sure that you've got a jar big enough to accommodate the top of the blender. Let's go ahead and grab everything together, and we can go ahead and start making our Gerry cakes. So this is a very fun part of Gerry cakes. We're going to go ahead and cut the corn off the cob. I'm looking to have about half a cup, 3/4 a cup. Whatever you end up with off of your cob is enough, or probably about a half a can of corn. So go ahead, and we're going to cut parallel to the cob. We're going to use a sawing motion. We're going to keep our fingers curled in, and we're going to use your cool vegetable carving knife again. It kind of is messy, but you can see after we just go down a little bit that the kernels pop right off of the cob, and then we'll have them ready to cook with. So I did a few ahead so that we wouldn't have to wait for me to do it, because it takes a little while to do this. And then we're going to go ahead and put them in this pan. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out of my way for just a second, and we're going to put this corn into this bowl. I've got about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to put that into our hot pan. Of course, you've got a grown-up around anyway because you're using a knife, so they can help you with this cooking part. And we're going to put our corn right into that nice sizzling butter, and then we're going to add some cinnamon sugar and make some caramelized corn. So you can already hear it sizzling. Nice hot pan. I'm going to mix it around a little bit. What we're trying to do is get the corn nice and hot. We want the melted butter all over the pan, and now we're going to add our cinnamon sugar. So I'm going to add, I've got a teaspoon, and I'm going to add 1 whole teaspoon, and I have a lot of corn. I'm actually going to add, let's put 2 teaspoons in. It's just going to make it more yummy. So I put 2 teaspoons of the cinnamon sugar in there. And now we are just going to mix it around, and we're going to stir our corn up. We are looking for it to get a little bit cooked. We've got to be careful. Keep your eyes away. Sometimes it might pop like popcorn because it is corn after all. And so give it a nice stir. Get it nice and hot and crispy. And like I said, if it gets a little bit brown, that's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put it into our bowl that we're going to make our Gerry cakes in. We'll make our mix right in the same bowl, and then we'll be ready to make Gerry cakes. So go ahead. This looks good to me. You can see I've got some nice little bits of color on there. I'm going to put it into the bowl, and we'll start making Gerry cakes. We're going to make our batter for the Gerry cakes. I wish you could smell how lovely this cinnamon sugar smells, that it's all cooked and yummy on the corn. Nice simple batter. We have a 3/4 cup of flour, and you can just dump all of your ingredients in. You don't need to worry about any particular order. 1 egg. Got just a pinch of salt, and really you just need a little pinch. pinch of salt. We have a half a cup of milk. We have, and this is important to measure this part, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. We have, I'm going to use the capful again. You can put a whole teaspoon of vanilla in. Vanilla tastes yummy in this case. So just a capful of the vanilla. Yum. Then, last but not least, a little sugar. Remember, we put the sugar in when we had the cinnamon sugar, so we don't need that much. We're just going to go ahead and put 1 full tablespoon. You can have a little bit of extra in there, mound it up a little bit, but 1 tablespoon is going to be plenty. We have the sweet corn in there. Go ahead and mix it up. And it's going to come all together, nice, kind of almost like pancake batter. It'll be a little bit thick. You'll see all your yummy bits of corn in there. You can see it doesn't take long, and I've got it all mixed up. Yum. So we've got the batter ready. I'm going to set this aside just for a minute or two, and then we'll cook it. But first, we need to make our cut up strawberries and our whipped cream. We'll set those aside in the fridge for a minute or two while we're making our Gerry cakes, because we want everything ready when the Gerry cakes come out of the pan. So we'll go ahead, we'll stop for a second. Let's make our whipped cream and chop up a couple of berries. Gerry, we're going to cut up a few strawberries. We get to use your French knife again. We've done this before, so of course, curl your fingers in, watch what you're doing. I want you to be very careful, please, when you're doing this. Let's really pay attention to where our knife is and what we're doing with our hand while our knife is in it. So let's just go ahead and cut the top off the strawberry again. We're just taking the very top off. I'm going to do 3 or 4. You probably want to do like 8, maybe even 10. Enough so that you have quite a few for the tops of your Gerry cakes. So I'll do 1 more. So I've got my fingers curled. I am cutting off just the top. And whenever I'm holding my knife, I'm very careful. I keep my knife very still and I don't wiggle it around at all. So I turned my strawberry onto the flat part. Being careful where my fingers are, watching what I'm doing. I made some nice slices, but just like last time, we could cut it in half, flip it onto the flat part, and we could just chop it up a bit. On top of the Gerry cakes, slices or dicey chunks will look great and taste fantastic. So there we go. We're going to put those in a bowl and we're going to set them aside. And that's all we need to do, Gerry. Just go ahead and cut up a few strawberries and we'll use them later on when the Gerry cakes are all cooked. Now we're going to make the whipped cream, and it's so fun, and whipped cream's so good. You could use the stuff out of a can, but you know, the real stuff is so much better. So we have, I love my little cow. We put about a cup of cream in here, and you can be vague, little cup, little more, it's fine. We're gonna go ahead and put that into our jar. And we're gonna add a little bit of sugar. We need just a bit so it's sweetened. I'm gonna put a tablespoon in there. You can add vanilla, but since we have vanilla in our batter, I don't think we need it, so why not? Why bother? So I'm going to put a tablespoon in there. I'm going to put a little less than a tablespoon. We really don't need much sugar in here. And here's the fun part. So this is a tool, and it has blades in it. Be very careful. Make sure you put it all the way into the bottom before you turn it on. Go ahead and turn it on, and then work it just a little bit, kind of bounce it to the bottom and then back up to the top again. And very quickly, you're going to get whipped cream. Mine's already thickening up. I'm almost there. It's going to get really thick, really fast, and be really yummy. In fact, I'm ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and show you. You can see by looking at the bottom there, it's already thickened whipped cream. So we'll put that in the fridge just for a couple of minutes while we make the Gerry cakes, and then we'll put it all together and they'll be so yummy. So we're going to cook our Gerry cakes and then we're going to put them all together. I have a medium-high heat pan and I've got about a tablespoon of butter. You need, of course, some supervision by a grown-up. I'm going to go ahead and put that tablespoon of butter in there. Ooh. nice and hot pan. I'm gonna go ahead and swizzle it around a little bit. And then we are going to go ahead and drop our Gerry cakes in there. I am using a soup spoon, just like the kind you eat within the kitchen, and we're just going to drop nice little portions of the Gerry cake down. 1 spoon for each Gerry cake. Just do 3 or 4 at a time. So they're going to cook for about 2 minutes on each side. And I'm going to tell you, Gerry, we went ahead and when we were making these up for you, and I was like, we've got to come up with a special recipe for Gerry. When we made the cinnamon sugar and the awesome with the corn together, I can't believe the combination. I'm so excited for you to try this. We should have thought this up a long time ago. They are so yummy. So after they've had about 2 minutes to cook, you go ahead and give them a flip. You're looking for brown color on the bottom and a couple of little holes coming up, little like bubbles of air. So they give them a nice little flip, and you got a perfect little golden pancake just like that. Ooh, these look so yummy. So I've been able to flip all of mine, and I'm going to go ahead and give them another 1.5 minutes on the second side, and then we will go ahead and assemble them together. And assemble them, we're just going to put them in our plate. We're going to put some strawberries on them, a little whipped cream, and then we get to make it snow again. So these look done to me. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. I'm going to turn off my pan because we don't want to burn anything. And I'm going to go ahead and pull them out, put them into my pan. They're so yummy. I can see little pieces of corn sticking out. Couple of berries, or a lot of berries, whatever you want. But just eat a couple of berries because you've got the corn in there and you want to taste the corn too. Then we get to use the whipped cream that we made ourselves. Even though I love whipped cream a lot, I like to put a little plop of whipped cream on each of the Gerry cakes. So we want them to be pretty. We want the cake to show through and the beautiful whipped cream. And we get to make it snow again. We just tap it, boop, 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 and then make it snow. Oh, they look so yummy. I can't wait to try a Gerry cake. I should have had a fork, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna shove it in my mouth anyway. Oh man, that's so good, Jack. I talked with my mouth full. Oh, go make Gerry cakes because they are so yummy.